Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us at the 2023 British Dressage Annual General Meeting. I'm very sorry I can't be with you this evening. Unfortunately, I'm stuck at home. I have COVID, and it all feels a bit like 2020 all over again, except for this time, I'm the one at home, and you're the ones all there waiting for the AGM at Aintree. So it does feel very odd. But I will try and host you remotely as best I can. As you'll see, we've continued our tour across the UK with our AGM. After 2 years at Arena UK, we've moved to the other side of the Pennines to Aintree Racecourse, where they're currently staging our high-profile show. As you're probably aware by now, we are celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. So it's great to see so many of our members here from around the country, and we'll be taking this opportunity to celebrate the achievements of some of our unsung heroes later this evening. Our AGM is once again run as a hybrid event, with the meeting and awards ceremony also broadcast live on our website. So members who are unable to be here in person also have the option to watch online from the comfort of their own home, just as I'm doing. As usual, we will cover the formal business required for our AGM and receive reports from our Finance Director and our Deputy Chair, Caroline Godfrey, as well as our Chair, Jill Day, and myself, Chief Executive, along with our Chief Operating Officer, Ben Waterhouse. We'll also receive updates from each of the BD board directors in video format to play here in the room and online, who'll report on the progress that we've made in each area of the organisation over the last 12 months. These will also be available to view online on our website after the AGM, along with the presentation you will see on your screens this evening and a full recording of the proceedings. Now, we do still have some of the BD board attending here in person this evening, as well as members of the senior management team. I'm sure they will wave as I introduce them. Please can I introduce Jill Day, Chair of British Dressage, Caroline Godfrey, our Finance Director and Deputy Chair, Claire Moyer, our BD Youth Director, Ben Waterhouse, Chief Operating Officer, Lou Jones, Sport Operations Manager, Charlotte Osborne, Training and Education Manager, Rachel Smith, our Membership Experience Manager, Claire Preston, Financial Controller, and Millie Peters, our Communications and Content Lead. Now, they'll be on hand to answer any questions that members want to address from the floor. So any questions that you have, please do ask them at the end, and we'll do our best to address any feedback that you want to give us. Now, whether you're here in person or watching online, thank you to all of our members and stakeholders, from riders, owners and coaches to our officials, organisers and volunteers, for your part in contributing to another record-breaking year for British Dressage. We really couldn't do this without your help and support. So we're now ready to start the formal part of our AGM. You will have already seen the notice of AGM, including our ordinary special business, as well as the 2022 accounts for British Dressage on the BD website. I will therefore take as read the notice convening the meeting and confirm that we have received apologies from Isla Orty, Stephen Clark, and Wendy Warren. Now, we will move first on to our first ordinary resolution to receive the financial statements of British Dressage for the year ended 31st of December 2022 and the Director and Auditor's reports thereon. Now, for this section of the AGM, I would just like to hand over to our Finance Director, Caroline Godfrey, to present the 2022 accounts.
Good evening, everybody. As we move on to the first ordinary resolution, I'm pleased to present the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st of December 2022. And as always, 2022 seems like a very long time ago now, but at the AGM we are required to report on the latest set of audited accounts, which was signed off by the board and our auditors in the summer. So the headlines for 2022 is that it was another strong financial performance for BD, and we made a surplus of just under 159,000. This was made up of a surplus in the charity of 32,000 and a surplus in our trading company, British Dressage Trading Limited, of 127,000. This was again much better than expected, with rising membership and horse registration numbers leading to increased income, which counteracted our budgeted deficit that we expected. We ended the year with 2.68 million in reserves, and this is split between restricted and unrestricted reserves, with the latter including the 250,000 allocated to the new designated funds category, but I'll return to this later. So some key numbers for 2022. Our total income increased by 15.44%, from 4.18 million to 4.83 million. Membership subscriptions increased by 184,000, which is 14.72%. Horse registrations increased by 278,000, 34.5% increase. And competition and training activity increased as well by 11.6%, 103,000. Gift aid recovery also increased because we have more members and more members sign up to give gift aid, then that gives us free money from the taxman. So we do thank those who are willing and able to sign a gift aid declaration, as it really does help us. On the other side, our total expenditure increased by 15.61%, from 3.975 million to 4.596 million. And as you'll see on a later slide, the bulk of this increase was attributable to more BD activity and competitions, with higher overheads a much lesser factor. So, key factors in 2022. The members of BD continue to be exceptionally loyal, with membership levels over 18,200 at that point in time. Obviously, they're even higher now, and horse registrations reaching over 16,700 by the end of 2022. Sorry, I was reading the wrong slide there. Subscription registration prices were held at 2021 levels despite our increased overhead costs for BD, and despite increases in things like insurance. Insurance premiums went through the roof. We also offered the bespoke packages for coaches, which have been extremely popular. And of course, 2022 was the first year we'd have a full schedule of competitions and championships at the correct time for a couple of years. So this slide just shows the income by category for 2022 with 2021 as a comparison. I've already highlighted the major changes, but obviously, thankfully, there were no lockdowns, so we didn't get any furlough receipts, and I'm very grateful about that. I would say at this point, if anybody does want to ask any questions on the full statutory accounts, they are online, and we do have them here with us. So if you do want to have any detailed questions afterwards, then please see Claire. Thanks, Claire. This is just a quick visual breakdown. We've put a couple of visual breakdowns of the income in. So membership and horse registrations accounted for 52.34% of our income, up from 49.6%. Competitions account for just under 20%, and training and education receipts for 16%. And this is another pictorial bar chart showing a comparison in percentage terms of where our income came from in 2022 compared with 2021. In percentage terms, the only change is an increase in the percentage of horse registrations and a reduction in other. But obviously the underlying numbers have changed, but it does show that we're fairly consistent in where our income comes from in percentage terms. So for expenditure, there are 4 broad categories for expenditure. The largest is entitled charitable activities, and that covers all that BD spends directly on the sport of dressage. Support overheads relate to the administration of BD, staff, rent, communications, depreciation, etc. And trading costs are obviously from British Dressage Trading, which is where you buy your sheets from and all that kind of stuff. And they've increased because we've had increased turnover. So that's a reflection of that. Governance is self-explanatory, audit fees, the costs of running the board, and whilst the percentage increase from 2021 looks large, it is actually just over £4,000, and that's to be expected because we've had more meetings returning to in-person. But I will add that most meetings are still virtual, saving time and travel expenses as part of our commitment to sustainability. So here's the pie chart showing the expenditure, and you can see that the bulk of it, 77%, is directly on the sport, and that's up from 75% in 2021. And the bar chart, as the legend seems to have disappeared, the blue bars are 2022 and the pink 2021, and shows where we've spent our resources. And you can see that training and education and championship costs have taken a greater proportion than in 2021. Here's a summarised version of the balance sheet for the 31st December 2022, showing that we had total assets of 2.68 million, and we held 3.45 million in investments, cash and deposits at the year end, prior to meeting liabilities in excess of 1.24 million. The value of fixed assets has once again decreased as the costs of investment in our IT systems are written off over a 3-year period, and planned amortisation write-off in the year exceeded any new additions. The reserves shown at the bottom of the balance sheet reflect the transfer of 250,000 into our designated funds, which I'll return to briefly in a moment, and which our CEO, Jason, will talk more about later too. As I've already said, 2022 seems very, very far away, so I'll give you a brief flavour of the finances of 2023 to date. Inflation has inevitably had an impact on disposable income for all members, as well as venues, officials, staff and volunteers, and has impacted on BD's costs too, and as I've already alluded to, particularly insurance premiums. Membership and horse registration have continued to rise and have performed well above expectations. The impact of increased income is that despite increased costs, BD is expecting a surplus for 2023, and in line with our commitment to members, we will look to boost our designated funds further. And when we look at our total projected projects over the next few years, they were in excess of the 250,000 we initially committed anyway. Our support for venues and members continues, with the starter levy subsidy extended to the end of 2023. And then just a couple of administrative things. In the summer of 2023, a subcommittee of the Finance and Business Development Committee undertook a review of our auditors. After a thorough tender process, 3 firms were interviewed, and a unanimous decision was made to reappoint our current auditors, Mazars. The Finance and Business Development Committee is also just starting to undertake a review of our investment advisors, again as a matter of good governance. Our investment policy has also been updated to ensure it reflects BD values and ethics. I'm returning briefly to designated funds. The transfer to this reserve was made at the very end of 2022, and BD staff drafted a schedule of special projects with costings and timelines. The aim is to ensure that these reserves are reinvested in projects to benefit all stakeholders of BD in a variety of ways. From a financial perspective, the board is committed to adding to this reserve from future surpluses, and the Finance and Business Development Committee will recommend appropriate transfers at the year end after reviewing our total reserves in line with our BD reserves policy. But I will leave the details of the projects to Jason. So, in advance of the formal receipt of the 2022 financial statements, I should state that Mazars, our independent auditors, were willing to attend this evening, but we agreed mutually that it wasn't necessary, as they were happy with the detailed, clean audit report contained in the financial statements. But if anyone does have any specific questions for the auditors, then I am very happy to ask that question of them and provide their response. The full statutory accounts are available on BD's website and have now been filed at Companies House and with the Charity Commission. And again, if there are any post-AGM questions on the full statutory accounts that anybody thinks up, then please do contact me via the office. And finally, as always, I'd like to say a huge thank you to all our members for your continued support, the amazing membership numbers and horse registration numbers, to all our volunteers for your truly invaluable contributions, to BD's senior management and all BD staff, and to the members of the Finance and Business Development Committee who are volunteers who assist in exercising good governance and financial control. That's David Forkus, Jude Helliker, Liz Kane and Sarah Kane, as well as the directors who are on it. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Claire Preston, our financial controller, as well as the BD finance team and the auditors at Mazars for all their hard work throughout the year, and especially in producing the 2022 annual report. I can confirm that we haven't received any questions on the accounts from members, so I will now return you to Jason, our Chief Executive, for the formal resolutions.
Thank you very much, Caroline. For our first ordinary resolution then, I propose that the financial statements, together with the Director's report and Auditor's report for the period ended 31st of December 2022 be received. Please could I therefore have votes for? If you could just raise your hands. Thank you. And votes against, please. Just waiting for verification on the vote there. I am delighted to say that I can confirm on a show of hands all members present voted in favour of the resolution. We also received 21 proxy votes with unanimous support in favour of this resolution, and therefore I declare the resolution duly carried. Now, under our second ordinary resolution, we would like to propose that Mazars are reappointed as auditors of British Dressage and authorise the board to fix their remuneration. Could I once again please have votes for by a show of hands? Thank you very much. And any votes against, please? And again, I can confirm that on a show of hands, all members present voted in favour of the resolution. We also received 21 proxy votes, with again unanimous support in favour of this resolution, and therefore I declare that the resolution is duly carried. Thank you very much. Well, we now move on to our special business, and there is just one special resolution, which is item 3 on the notice of AGM, and that's the approval and adoption of the new Articles of Association of British Dressage. Now, a copy of the new proposed Articles of Association with a marked up document for comparison purposes have been on the British Dressage website since Thursday, the 7th of September. However, I'd like to take this opportunity just to provide some more background on the proposed changes. In recent years, you may remember that we've reviewed and amended the Articles of Association to reflect best practice in accordance with the Code for Sports Governance published by UK Sport and Sport England, which was further updated in 2021. It is essential for the future of British Dressage that the Board of Directors continues to attract high-caliber individuals with the right level of knowledge and experience to represent members and ensure that the sport is governed effectively. The introduction of a nominations committee has provided greater scrutiny over the director nominations process, including the appointment of extra directors for specific areas of expertise, and members now have a binding vote for all elected director positions, regardless of whether candidates stand unopposed. Now, this means that members have the option to actively reject or choose none of the candidates put forward. Last year, we also introduced a provision to appoint a deputy chair from within the board. This will normally be an existing director who can provide expertise in areas that complement the skill set and background of the appointed chair, as well as providing additional support for the chief executive and the senior management team. Now, the changes that we're proposing to the Articles of Association this year will further strengthen our governance standards by amending the process for appointing a chair to the board. Now, this is such a critical position with prime responsibility for leading the organisation and being a figurehead for the sport, we need to ensure that the recruitment process is robust and that we continue to attract individuals with the requisite skills and competencies. When the position of chair is next up for renewal, we therefore want to broaden the pool of potential applicants by seeking nominations from the BD membership and the board as normal, but also opening it up to external applicants who meet specified criteria. The post would be advertised publicly via an open application process in line with UK Sport and Sport England requirements. All applications would then be scrutinised by the nominations committee, who would conduct interviews with a short list of candidates. Following this process, they would make a recommendation of their preferred candidate to the board. If approved, this person would then be put forward to the membership as the recommended appointment to the board, with the membership still having the final say to either ratify or reject the preferred candidate for chair through a yes-no vote in exactly the same way as other uncontested member-elected director positions. Now, if a candidate is rejected by the membership, an interim chair would be appointed by the board until the following year, when applications would then reopen and the process would then begin again. The membership will continue to have the ultimate say when appointing any new chair. It's very important to emphasize that. It's also important to note that this does not affect the current chair appointment and would only be applicable from the end of their first term in 2026 onwards. We must stress that it's not reflective in any way of the outcome of the most recent chair election, and the current post holder, Jill Day, is fully supportive of these measures. Now, in making these changes, we still want to encourage applications from within the membership, as there will undoubtedly be people with the knowledge and experience that the organisation needs within our membership. An appreciation and understanding of dressage, as well as the wider equestrian sector, will remain a central consideration. However, under this new process, we would not be restricting the pool of potential candidates, and we can make sure that we recruit the right calibre of person for this vitally important role. This will also ensure that British Dressage is aligned with the requirements set out in the Code for Sports Governance and remain fully compliant with our obligations as a charitable organisation by promoting openness and transparency when making any board appointments, as well as supporting our aim to achieve the highest standards of governance and professionalism. So I appreciate that's a very long-winded explanation, but it's an important change, and therefore I wanted you to all have the necessary background before we move to the vote. So now, could I please have votes for this special resolution? Votes for, please. Again, if you could show your hands for a vote for. I'll just tally those up for the record. Thank you. And if I could also have votes against, please. Well, once again, I can confirm that on a show of hands, that the required majority of members present all voted in favour of this special resolution. We also received 21 proxy votes again, all in favour of this resolution and none registered against. And therefore I declare that this resolution is carried by the majority decision. Now, for the final part of the formal business for this year's AGM, I would just like to announce the results of the director elections that we held this year. We invited nominations for one member-elected position for Sports Operations Director, as well as applications for two board-appointed positions for the Finance Director and Business Development Director. Now, in all three instances, the current post holders were eligible for a second term. After a formal review of applications by the Nominations Committee, two candidates were put forward to the membership vote for the Sport Operations Director role, with an electronic ballot carried out independently by my voice over the summer. In total, 1,486 votes were cast, with the results as follows. Derek Pullum received 922 votes, representing a 62% share, and Simon Bates received 564 votes, equating to 38%. I can therefore formally declare that Derek Pullum is duly elected as Sport Operations Director with effect from today's AGM announcement. I believe Derek's in the room, so please give everyone give him. Now, for the positions of Finance Director and Business Development Director, I can confirm that only one application was received in each instance, and therefore the current post holders, Caroline Godfrey and Suzanne Homewood, were unopposed. The Nominations Committee unanimously recommended their reappointment, and this has subsequently been ratified by the Board, with the start of their second terms taking effect from today's AGM announcement. Congratulations to Caroline and Suzanne. You've both done a tremendous job during your first term in office, particularly in helping to steer the organisation. This leaves us with a vacancy on the BD board, and in accordance with the process detailed in the Articles of Association, the BD board has unanimously agreed to appoint Hannah Moody as interim BD Youth Director for a period of 12 months. Now, Hannah brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to this role, and we're really looking forward to working with her over the next year. The BD Youth Director position will be formally advertised in the first quarter of 2024, inviting nominations from the membership as normal. And of course, Hannah will also be eligible to stand for election.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Good evening and welcome everybody. I've now completed my first year as chair, and what a year it's been. Our 25th anniversary since British Dressage was established as an independent national governing body. A total of 14 medals at this summer's European Championships, which I will talk about later, and the highest membership numbers and horse registrations we have ever had. A variety of celebration events have been run to mark 25 years of British Dressage, with our volunteer awards being presented later tonight. Last week we hosted a thank you dinner for all those who were instrumental in setting up BD back in 1998, along with past and present board members. This year for me has been about catching up with all British Dressage are doing, getting familiar with all the work that is going on behind the scenes. The number of projects we have on the go is immense. Our operational plan for 2023 has over 100 projects on it. I'm pleased to be able to announce another record year for member numbers, which has now surpassed 18,750. Despite the cost of living crisis, riders have been out in force, with over 110,000 going down the centre line in the first 9 months of the year, our highest total since the pandemic. However, we are not complacent about our growth, especially with the economic climate as it is, and we will continue to monitor the member experience to make sure it is a good one, whether members are competing, training, or taking part in regional activity. On that note, I'd like to inform members that we will be conducting a review of the regions in the first quarter of next year, as it's been 3 years since the regions were restructured. This has been a hugely successful year for British Dressage on the international stage. Our senior team winning the gold medal for the first time since London 2012, beating Germany on home soil for the first time in the process. So this is very exciting with the Paris Olympics just around the corner. Our para team had 2 championship debutants and some young inexperienced horses, but still surpassed expectations this year with 9 medals between them, which was a tremendous performance. Earlier in the summer, our juniors and young riders also won team bronze in their respective categories in the FEI Under-21 European Championships. Annabella Pidgley continued her phenomenal medal-winning run with double individual gold as part of the young rider team, while Miles Graham won individual freestyle bronze for GB in the juniors. Team medals are the primary aim for our national teams representing Great Britain, where they are up against the best in Europe or the rest of the world. Our riders cannot control what other teams do. They can only focus on their own performance. The most we can ask for is that they do their best. Well, with no fewer than 11 of our riders achieving personal best scores at the Europeans, they have certainly delivered on all fronts. This is the first time that British Dressage has won international medals in 4 different age categories and groups. So we've put together a short video celebrating all of those medal-winning performances.
We've experienced a year of great success for both our youth and senior teams. The young riders did fantastically well in Hungary. The team of Annabella Pidgley, Jessie McConkey, India Drummond-Mills and Lily Lawton blew us away with a team bronze medal. Annabella went on and did an amazing job to secure 2 historic gold medals with her mother Sarah Pidgley's mare, Espy, the first win at this level by a British young rider. It was then all systems go to get our other teams where they needed to be, with 3 consecutive weeks of European Championships for our youth riders. Next up was the turn of our junior riders, Miles Graham, Isla Sully, Meta Dahl and Ruby Hughes. Some inspired performances and personal bests resulted in another team bronze, the 2nd consecutive bronze medal achieved by the British junior team in 2 years. Miles also managed to achieve an individual bronze in the freestyle competition with Caroline Bell's British-bred mare, Nibley Union Hit. Both Annabella and Miles complete their season with impressive FEI world ranking positions, with Annabella ranked 2nd and Miles holding the world #1 spot for a junior rider. Our pony riders did a great job at the European Championships, finishing 5th, whilst newcomer Abigail Gray made an exceptional debut to place just outside of the individual medals. Last, but certainly not least, we sent our senior team to the FEI European Championships in Riesenbeck with very high hopes and an incredibly strong team, and they certainly delivered. The team of Charlotte Dujardin, Lottie Fry, Carl Hester and Gareth Hughes proved every bit of their class to secure a team gold medal. This is our first major championship gold as a team since London 2012 and the first European Championship team gold since Rotterdam 2011, an outstanding achievement. The quality of performances across the nations continues to rise, and the standard was impressive throughout the whole week. All of the British team exceeded expectations, with 3 horse and rider combinations topping the 80% mark in the Grand Prix Special, and 2 scoring over 90% in the Grand Prix Freestyle. Charlotte Dujardin earned bronze in the Special and Freestyle with Imatep, whilst Lottie Fry took the challenge to Jessica von Bredow-Verndl down to the wire, earning a silver medal in the freestyle, only 0.5% away from gold. With Paris 2024 just around the corner, we can be incredibly proud of what all our teams and riders have achieved this year and look ahead with much excitement.
Although Britain have dominated para-dressage, in recent years other nations have started to really excel in the sport, bringing forward talented horse and rider combinations. With this in mind, we travelled to the FEI Para-Dressage European Championships with high hopes, but also a realistic outlook as we continue a phase of rebuilding with new riders and new horses joining the team. Our team of Sophie Wells, Georgia Wilson, Charlotte Cundall and Gabby Blake did us exceptionally proud and exceeded all expectations to bring home a team bronze medal. Georgia Wilson showed super consistency and brought home a hat-trick of European medals. She achieved a duo of silver medals in the Grade 2 individual and freestyle competitions with Jeff and Julie Wilson's British-bred Sakura, alongside an immense contribution to the team bronze medal. Sophie Wells earned a freestyle bronze with the Lady Joseph Truss Engbirgaard's Samoa, Sophie did a fantastic job in coaxing a young talent through the championships, and there's so much more to come for this combination. We had 2 team newcomers. The first of those was Gabby Blake, who brought her own strongbow to the championships and secured an emotional bronze medal in the Grade 1 individual competition to start her week in tremendous style. Charlotte Cundall made a super debut with the Veyron Partnerships FJ Veyron and excelled in earning personal best scores throughout the week. I'm really proud of what these 4 riders accomplished. It was beyond our expectations, and I'm excited to see what's to come as we continue building towards Paris 2024. My congratulations and thanks go to the riders, grooms, owners, and the vast network of supporters behind the scenes at British Dressage and British Equestrian who contribute to the success of our team.
I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate all our other team riders, from those taking part in our Team Quest Championships to those selected by their regions for inter-counties, inter-regionals and home nations. We now have hundreds of members experiencing what it feels like to go down the centre line, knowing that your performance will affect not only yourself but your team members. It's a lot of pressure for anyone, regardless of the level you are competing at, whether it's to bring home glory to your region or your country. So well done to all of you. Congratulations to all members who've competed this year and achieved your personal goals, whether that was qualification for a BD championship or to simply continue to progress and grow the partnership with your horse. To our judges and stewards, a huge thank you. Your professionalism is second to none. I'd like to thank all members that have continued to support BD this year, and to all the volunteers that help us to deliver all these competitions and training activity on the ground. We would not be able to do it without you. From the regional committees who are keeping things running smoothly across the country, to our technical committees and the board, we are so lucky to have you all. I'd also like to take a huge thank you to the team in the office. We could not hope for a more dedicated, hard-working workforce, from the junior staff to the senior management team. They are all determined to do their best for BD, and we are very fortunate to have such a strong team in place looking after our sport. I'd like to finish by saying a huge thank you to Jason Broadcombe, our CEO. Jason works tirelessly for us with so many projects on the go. It's like watching someone spinning plates and never letting one drop. He has a handle on every aspect of our sport, from grassroots riders to the international scene, and he's equally passionate about both. He's been very supportive of me in my first year and has shown immense patience, explaining things to me and bringing me up to date with the workings of BD. If he's wanted to scream at times, he's never shown it. We couldn't ask for a better ambassador to represent us at both home and on the wider stage. So Jason, I'm sorry you're not here tonight, but on behalf of the board and the members, I'd like to thank you for your part in the success of BD as we see it today. And I'm now going to pass back to Jason for the CEO report. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much to Jill for those kind words, but as she emphasised, it's very much a team effort. We had a competitor survey sent out at the end of last year, if you remember rightly, and I was delighted to see that we had such a high response rate, 3,256 responses from competing members. That was 24% of those surveyed. And again, delighted to see that we had a strong satisfaction rating for British Dressage. That was up from 7.1 in 2019 to 7.5. Those scores out of 10, of course, while ratings for our head office team improved from 7.8 to 8.5, which is absolutely fantastic and just really does, underline the quality of the team that we now have in place at BDHQ. And when rating the overall experience of competing or participating in the sport, Those giving the highest scores of 8, 9, or 10 increased to 53% compared to 43% in 2019. So everything is definitely heading in the right direction. Now, if we take a look at the championship qualifications and entries so far this year, we can see, again, very buoyant sport. The regional qualifications and area festival qualifications, both in winter and summer, were strong. You can see a total of 18,675 qualifications, which equated to 12,325 entries going down the centre line across winter and summer 2023, which is quite astounding, really, when you look at those numbers. On our next slide, you'll see that our total starters from the 1st of January through to the 30th of September in 2023 equated to 110,716. That's our highest ever level since the pandemic. So we're now well and truly back on the road to recovery. And our total competitions from the 1st of January through to 30th of September equated to something like 2,500. So just short, 2,487 compared to 2,312 in 2022. We're actually on target to have, I think, 3,300 fixtures this year, which again is quite phenomenal. Now, when we look at the average number of starts per member, it is marginally down by 1% against last year. And you may remember that last year I reported that we had an 11% drop on the previous year. Now, this, we think, reflects the cost of living, particularly the high cost of fuel and transportation. But there has been a 20% increase in regional training activity over this period. Now, that indicates that people are still wanting to be very active, getting out and about, both competing and training, but perhaps staying closer to home and being a little bit more selective when they actually go and compete at venues. There's no room for complacency, as Jill said earlier, and that's something we'll be monitoring very closely. But I think overall, the health of the sport is still looking very good. Now, the new format for our Quest competitions has been received very well, continues to grow in popularity. We now have almost 4,000 club members, believe it or not, 3,828 club members. And those 10 venue leaderboards that we had around the UK were very popular and well supported. The Quest Winter League was launched in August this year, running from 1st of September through to the 31st of December. And 156 new members have already signed up in the first 2 months, which is just fantastic to see. Now, looking ahead, on our next slide, we'll see the rules update for next year. We've conducted a full review of our equine welfare policies in conjunction with World Horse Welfare, and I'll talk a bit more about this shortly. We're going to be introducing a new charter for the horse, key principles that we want all BD members to support. We're very conscious of the social impact that the sport has, both in terms of equine welfare and also on the environment. And we'll be introducing a lot of new initiatives on this front in the next year or two. We've also conducted a full review of all of our national tests, with new tests to be introduced from the 1st of July 2024. And again, I'll talk about this a little bit more shortly. In terms of other rule changes, additional minimum eligibility requirements will be introduced for advanced levels and above. Associated championships will be moving to one central venue in 2024 to showcase dressage for all breeds and societies. So at the moment we have 2 championships, but we're going to have one major championship located in the center of the country. There'll be a new intro dressage level for combined training with revised show jumping heights. And the full rule synopsis for 2024 will be released as normal on the 1st of December. So you'll be able to read all the detail that sits behind this when those rules are published with our members handbook on the 1st of December. Now, in terms of the test review, I'm sure this is the bit that most people will be interested in this evening. Now, we've had a consolidation of the number of tests and looking at a maximum of 6 at each level. There are 4 intro level. Now, the reason for doing this is we wanted to have a more clear progression and a progressive step at each level linked to the scales of training and providing a greater focus on the correct training of horses and rider development. Now, this will give us a clearer framework to progress up the levels, providing distinct stepping stones. There's a review of all the directives to ensure a greater clarity for riders, coaches, and judges, as well as a review of the marks to ensure that the movements are appropriately allocated. In some instances, we'll be removing some of the outdated terminology, and we'll also be looking at a reduction of coefficient marks used for the paces to level the playing field. The important point to emphasize here is this has been done over a long period of time this year. It's been through many committees and through the board several times, and so many people have been involved in this project. I would just like to thank every single one of them for their hard work and effort. It has been a mammoth task to get to this point. The exciting news that we can announce this evening is that we are going to make these tests available free to download for a 6-month period. So they don't come into effect, as I said, until the 1st of July next year. But in order to facilitate this and ensure that our members can familiarize themselves with the new tests, we will make them available for free to download from the 1st of December this year for a period of 6 months. So when we launch the new rulebook and launch the changes that we're making for next year, you'll also be able to look at all of those new tests at every level, download those free of charge, and that runs for a 6-month period from the 1st of December through to the 31st of May next year. And as I say, those tests will then be up and running in the live environment from 1st of July next year. So exciting changes ahead, and hopefully you will all look forward to seeing those new tests. Moving on to our judge education system, which we've talked a lot about in the last couple of years, huge amount of investment has been made in this area. Now, you can see a wall of numbers there, but I won't go through all of those in detail, but you'll be able to see that from those numbers that it's an awful lot of work has gone into making the judge education system a success. An impressive number of judges have already been through it. We have 825 judges currently registered on the program, over 1,000 registrations in total made since we launched it back in August 2020. And I'm delighted to say that we have had the first cohort through, and now we are looking at the latest exams just taking place this month. And you'll start to see this bearing fruit, I think, out there in the field, because we have a much higher standard of training and education, making sure that we have the consistency in place and the quality of judging that our members would expect. So all of this investment that we've made in our judge education system is now starting to bear fruit. And I would like to, again, thank every single one of you who've been involved in making that happen. The Judges Committee, we had the Judges Education Working Group, as well as a wide range of other volunteers, officials, and of course the board, who all had input into that new system. But hopefully you'll all agree that that is really now starting to make a difference when it comes to the quality of officiating that we have in the arena. In terms of our other training and education initiatives, you may remember that in the spring of last year, we launched our new coach packages. Well, again, I'm delighted to say that 262 coaches have signed up for those packages. We have 63 on the coach and 89 on the coach plus packages. And that's the one including both the CPD activity and insurance. Fantastic 95% renewal rate and 30% actually upgrading after the first year, which is great to see. In terms of coaching, we have 49 candidates currently enrolled on the BDCC courses this year. That's 41 at level 2 and 8 at level 3. 22 have been assessed to date and a pass rate of over 90%. So congratulations to all of those who've been through the BDCC course. 36 stewards have been on training courses to upgrade to either level 1 or level 2. Our BD Youth Academies continue to go from strength to strength, with 48 athletes enrolled on the Foundation and National Academies this year. We'll talk a bit more about our Para Academies shortly. We also launched the BD Apprenticeship Programme last summer, and over 20 learners have been registered in the first cohort, and that's across the equine groom, business and marketing routes. And we hope that this is something that will continue to just grow and grow. In partnership with our review of the equine welfare policies, we also are looking to complete our horse care program. We've already got 757 learners registered on the horse care program to date, with an 80% completion rate, which is fantastic to see. But this is something we want to promote to a much wider audience and ensure that it's not just BD Youth, but actually all members across BD look to benefit from that horse care program. Finally, as part of my Chief Executive update, I want to give you some more details on the designated funds projects. Now, Caroline referenced this in her finance section, but I want to give you a bit more detail in terms of how we've spent that money so far. Over 155,000 has already been invested in designated fund projects, and we anticipate that that figure will probably be over 200,000 by the end of the year. And in terms of the work we've undertaken thus far, we have invested in equipment to support live scoring and paperless judging, including iPads, keyboards, power packs, and protective travel cases, which will enable us to roll out live scoring at our championships, which we've already done at the Nationals. And we'll also be doing that as well hopefully for our Premier League fixtures for next year. We made a significant financial contribution towards our CDI and CPEDI competitions, and that particularly goes towards supporting the cost of FEI officials. These are very expensive shows for our venues to put on, and we want to be able to fully support them as much as we can financially to make sure that we have those opportunities for our international riders. We're also investing in technology support for alternative music formats, and that will be rolled out over the course of 2024. I mentioned earlier that sustainability is a key focus for us going forward. We've been working with consultants White Griffin to develop a joint strategy with British Show Jumping and a specific action plan for BD, which will take us on the journey to net zero in 2040. It's an ambitious plan, it's long-term plan, but vitally important for the future of our sport. So watch out for that. We're hoping to publish that towards the end of November, beginning of December. Now, we're looking at taking a training and education-led approach on this one. There won't be anything mandated to our stakeholders. We want to provide you with the knowledge, the tools, the resources to help to support a more sustainable future for dressage and for equestrianism as a whole. But we want to be taking the leadership role in this area, and the designated funds projects will enable us to make great progress on our action plan, hopefully from 2024 and beyond. And one thing I'm very passionate about is the area of equine welfare. You'll see on the next slide that we're looking at a cross-horse sector initiative with the BHA and BEF to support equine welfare strategies, and our action plan will be launched later this year. We will have a conference in London on the 4th of December, and that is right the way across horse sport. So we'll have representatives from all different areas of both the sport and the horse leisure rider representatives across the whole horse sector to try and show that we have a united approach to this vitally important area. We're investing in a joint research project with World Horse Welfare and our other sector partners to fully understand public opinion and attitudes towards horse sport so we can really inform our work in this vitally important area. There'll be updates to our judge, steward and coach education modules and our CPD activity to ensure that officials uphold the highest standards of horse welfare. And there will be member education modules too that will support the Charter for the Horse that will be launching, as I said, on the 1st of December. And that will hopefully promote better understanding and awareness of horse care in the other 23 hours outside of competing in the arena. And that again was highlighted in recent research undertaken by the Equine Ethics and Wellbeing Commission as one of the biggest areas of concern for equestrian and horse owners. Finally, we'll be looking to invest in a tutor assessor course for additional horse care training and assessment, and that will provide wider promotion of horse care and the associated benefits for equine welfare. And as I mentioned earlier, that will also involve the wider rollout and promotion of our horse care program, which is now nearing its completion. Next slide, please. In terms of other designated funds projects, there's a lot of match funded projects going on to support training and development. That's particularly to support gaps that we've identified in judge provision in remote areas where we need perhaps more intensive or fast track judge development, particularly in the area of our para pathways, which I'll talk about a bit more shortly. But para judge training has been an important part of that, as well as helping with travel cost subsidy for tutor judges when they're traveling out of area and into remote parts of the country. We are looking to launch a mentoring scheme, which will be broken down into 5 different areas. So general training and teaching and learning for those requiring further support to develop their educating, tutoring, or assessing techniques. For youth development for those transitioning onto our talent pathways or our international programs. For coaches to provide additional technical, professional, or personal support. For judges to support their development needs or performance management issues. And for our para community to support the transition for officials from able-bodied to para competition. Now, talking a bit more about our para pathways, it's exciting to confirm that a new para academy has been introduced this year. We had a lot of interest, 26 applications, and we've got 14 attending the first cohort. Now, there are 42 judges also on track to complete the para judges pathway, with the first assessments taking place in October, while 13 coaches have completed the para coach workshop to become accredited BD para coaches. And there's a further 8 registered for the next workshop too. So you can see here that we're trying to invest in developing our para sport in not just what goes on in terms of the arena, but all the support outside of it too. So supporting the development of our workforce, particularly our judges, our stewards and coaches, is vitally important to make sure that our para structures are very much in line with able-bodied, and that includes all of our training and education programs. Now, BD has also enjoined the Hidden Disability Sunflower Scheme, with further training and education to be made available to coaches and officials. This hidden disability is quite important to us going forward. You know, we want to look at how we can improve our neurodiversity in dressage beyond the classification system. So we'll be looking to develop partnerships with the RDA, Virtus, the Activity Alliance, Special Olympics, and other disability partners, so we can either work with them to signpost additional opportunities outside of BD, or look at how we can incorporate some of their opportunities under our umbrella. Obviously, para forms part of our equality, diversity, and inclusion initiatives. We've been working very closely in consultation with the BEF and member bodies to develop a federation-wide strategy, which will be completed in coming months. We're developing more inclusive and accessible pathways into equestrian sport via our apprenticeship programs and our employability routes. And that includes outreach initiatives, working with inner city schools and education school charities to highlight opportunities that exist within the industry. We'll be providing opportunities to access our horse care education programs via the online learning platform, and further training and education activity will be delivered over the next year to underpin this EDI strategy. So I hope all of this gives you a flavor of how your money is being reinvested into the sport for the benefit of all members. You know, this is fantastic. We are now in a fantastically enviable position where we have a strong reserves position with over 2.6 million in reserves, that we can now allocate £250,000 into our designated funds, invest into these projects. As I say, we expect that it will probably be roughly in the region of about 200,000 spent by the end of this year, in the first year of this. Now, we will be then topping that out of any surplus that we make in this year to ensure that we continue to invest going forward. At the moment, we have about £380,000 worth of projects lined up over the next 3 years. And as part of our commitment to this, we've actually employed a project delivery lead as well, Emma Bayliss, who joined us earlier this month, who'll be working with our team in sport operations, in training and education, and with our regional development officers to actually deliver a lot of these designated funds projects. So it's exciting times to see that membership money is being reinvested into the sport for the benefit of all. And with that, I now hand you over to our Chief Operating Officer, Ben Waterhouse.
The last one I'm going to mention is the development of our BD website. So that project's been ongoing for the last couple of months. The website was completed in 2019, so it's due an upgrade, due a revamp. So that piece of work is underway, and that will be a major update of the content management system to provide greater flexibility to embed video and social media content. We've talked a couple of times about the regions, so just forgive me again for highlighting a few things that have gone really well this year in terms of our regional activity. Total activity has grown from 7,000 participants in 2021 through to 9,211 in 2023, which is an 18.5% increase from 2022 into 2023. We've seen continued growth in flexi training with a 26% increase in bookings from 2022 to 2023. That doesn't happen by accident, so I wanted to say a huge thank you and congratulations to our regional development officers, some of which are in the room this evening, and our regional committees, who work incredibly hard to drive these increases and provide opportunities for all. As you can tell, most of them are in the room this evening. In terms of the regional team competitions, in 2023 we had a total of 609 riders who took part across 149 teams in our interregionals and home nations. These consisting of 273 riders, 286 youth and 50 para riders. So I want to say a special thank you to our host venues for this year, who were Onley Grounds, Valeview, Sparsholt College and Kelsall Hill. Jason and Jill have already mentioned, and Caroline have mentioned our staff, and again, they're absolutely fundamental to what BD is trying to do moving forwards. We've actually had a few new appointments this year, which are listed on the screen for you. Ellie joining us as Marketing Sponsorship Officer, Emily in T&E alongside Rachel in Training Education as well. Molly's joined our membership team, and Emma, as Jason's just mentioned, joined as Project Delivery Lead, which is a new position for British Dressage. We also engaged the services of the Sport and Recreation Alliance as an independent organisation to carry out a staff satisfaction survey this June. The results of this were hugely positive and encouraging, which seems to indicate that BD is generally thought of as a good place to work and a good employer. As you can see, if you squint your eyes slightly, that is now the BD structure. So we now have 42 staff in total, which is the highest number we've ever had. However, we are now at the highest membership levels we've ever had. So we need that infrastructure to support our membership. We're back to full staffing levels. Sorry, I've covered that already. But again, if you can't read that very well, it's detailed on the website. There's a Meet the Team page. So again, you can look at that in your own time. But I have to say, in my 5 years at BD, this is the best team we've had in that time. They're all incredibly hardworking, incredibly passionate about what they do, and we couldn't do anything without them. Another key element that's been mentioned a few times are our volunteers. Again, the staff of 42 couldn't hope to deliver what we do without our volunteer networks. So I just want to put on record a huge thank you to the following individuals who have left their roles within BD or at technical or regional committee level this year. The technical committees, on the judges committee, we haven't lost. Jane stepping down along with Maria and Pat, who've done their 8-year terms. Kelly Thompson on the Para Committee and Claire on the Training Committee. In terms of our regional committees, Nor and Gillian have stood down from the North and East, Jackie in the North and West, Susie and Alicia in the South and West, Johan and Jade in Scotland, and Joanne, Emma and Katie in the South and East. So again, just a huge thank you to all of those people listed. A number of them have served 8-year terms on committees and more, which is fantastic and a credit to them. So we've had a number of new faces join the committees during this year, and we've got a handful of vacancies to be advertised in the next couple of months before the end of the year. So please keep an eye on our website and see if you're interested in joining us. In particular, I'd like to welcome Carrie Payne, who will be taking over from Susie as South and West Regional Chair as of January. And a final plug for a vacancy that we're currently recruiting for, which is a regional chair for the South and East region, with full details again on our website. We'll now see a short video from each of our board directors, which will summarise some of the projects and initiatives that we've been working on in their respective technical areas.
So looking back on 2023, Simon, tell us about competition and participation for British Dressage.
Well, we are now at record numbers of members, and we seem to be keeping that up nicely and not having it fall away in the summer as we half expected it to do. The competition numbers are holding up well. We're still in a recession and with high fuel prices, and yet the number of shows is keeping up, and the number at the shows is also holding up quite nicely.
And we've seen some changes to Quest this year with adaptations to the leaderboards and more semi-finals. Tell us about the progress in Quest and how it's been received.
It seems to be going really well. The leaderboards and the flexibility in making it venue-led rather than fixed to regions will, going forward, make it much easier to grow Quest and keep the numbers coming up. We've also obviously got the Winter League just started now as we film this, and that seems to be popular.
And tell us a bit about the development behind the new Quest Winter League. Why has that been introduced to the calendar?
To make Quest a 12-month product, it seems silly to have a product we were putting into venues that they had to rest through the winter. People who do dressage compete all year round, train all year round, so they should compete all year round and have the opportunity. I'm sure it will end up growing beyond the league table it's on now, but early signs are it's well welcomed.
And it's been a busy year all round for the BD team and the wider volunteer network behind the scenes who work hard to contribute to our sport. What have the Sport Operations Committee been doing behind the scenes?
The Sports Operations Committee have been working in two halves. We've got a fixtures working group and we've got the silver working group who've been looking at the sections, how we fine-tune silver to cover the area festival riders and the regional riders, and how we get a smooth progression through bronze, up through the area festival silver, into regional silver, and then finally to gold for people. The work in that section that's coming through this year is really how we give people the choice between Premier Leagues and area festivals and not allowing people both, which then gives more choice to everyone and makes sure we don't have too big a fish in some of the small ponds.
And of course, there's plenty of choice for BD members to pick and choose how far they want to travel. We've got members across the whole country. I know there's been work going on about where venues are allocated in terms of our championship offering. Can you tell us about that?
Well, BD's invested recently in some mapping software, which enables us to see on a map where riders are at each level and where the venues are, so that the allocation of shows now is much more tuned to where the riders actually are in the country, rather than just a geographical split.
Harry, last year you launched the coach support packages. Tell us about how they've developed.
Firstly, they've been really well received. We had really good uptake on the initial launch. This year we've looked at, I think 95% of coaches have renewed, and the feedback has been really good. Actually, the benefits that the coaches are getting from the package, the insurance, the CPD, has all been really, really well received. So yeah, the coaches package is looking pretty strong at the moment.
And it's been a key focus for the training and education team this year. What else have been the other focuses around the topic of coach development?
Well, alongside the coaches package, we also launched the CPD program at the convention last year. And for the requirements for that, we are now looking into building a bigger and bigger CPD provision. And in order to do that, we've had to launch a bigger and bigger workforce alongside all of the other programs that we've developed and expanded. So actually this year a lot has been done to try and expand our workforce. I think we've now upgraded 40 members of the workforce to deliver across all of the programs and to assist in providing that CPD provision. We had a big workforce development day, which we ran for the first time this year at the Show Jumping Centre in Leicestershire, which was really, really well attended and very well received. And we've also looked at having to update our IQA strategy, because alongside launching all the programs and running all the programs, we need to make sure we can quality assure them all. So we've just rewritten the IQA strategy, which has been quite a big process. And we're looking at a much more holistic way of being able to verify across all strains of provision.
And what other training and development activities have been going on this year?
In addition to creating that sort of extra 40 workforce, in order to get the CPD provision, we've had to map quite a lot of projects across into other member bodies' qualifications, and also mapping across what gaps our coaches might have within their CPD, and actually also what gaps the workforce might have had within their CPD as well. So there has been quite a large mapping project which has been running in parallel to developing sort of the provision of the activities. And going forward, we hope that will help recognise prior learning, and that qualifications from other member bodies can easily be converted to ours and vice versa, hopefully opening up a lot more opportunity for a lot more people.
Looking ahead, Harry, what will the focus be for the next 12 months?
Firstly, we've got our national convention coming up at the end of November. We've got Charlotte as our lead presenter, with Carl and Vallegro is going to be making a star appearance. So that's looking like being really exciting. We're also looking at developing our on-demand and our free training provision across all members of BD, which will be available through the BD portal. And we've looked at trying to link the scales of training more in order with our tests, and there will be a lot further provision and training for officials and judges over the next few months to ensure that gets an integrated approach.
The judge education system has now been in place for 18 months. What's the uptake and feedback been like?
It's been excellent, really. We've had over 800 judges that are now currently working towards their upgrade, and the feedback on the training has been excellent.
And just as riders progress through the levels from prelim to Grand Prix, judges progress through the levels too. Can you tell us about the number of judges upgrading?
Yes, that's been good so far. So far we've had 204 judges upgrade various levels from novice to advanced medium, and we've also had 26 judges upgrade from Pre-St George and above. That's up to Grand Prix level. And
our system, it's safe to say, is world leading. How have the progressions in technology allowed for the system to really flourish?
I think COVID really helped us in a way because we are now able to offer much more online stuff. So online training, use of videos, it's really helped the judges be able to practice more and more. And also it's accessible to the remote regions. So it doesn't matter where you live, how far away you are, you can still train and have the same consistent training as well, which I think is really important.
And the system continues to develop too with new bolt-on sessions. How are these progressing?
Really good. I mean, it was my vision always to use these bolt-on sessions so that judges can also upskill their judging. They can learn about specific areas that they want to improve on. So at the moment we have a module or bolt-on, if you like, for freestyles, so judging freestyles. So we offer training how to judge freestyles to music, and also para at the moment. And we're hoping to develop it more so we can have smaller workshops so that if a judge is, say, struggling and wants to learn more about flying changes or walk pirouettes, it becomes a very easy way for them to access small workshops online where they can have a mentor or tutor judge helping them develop their skill in assessing those particular movements.
And there's also been success for the Module 4 days too.
Yes, the Module 4 has been really interesting and it's worked really well. We're trying to link riders, trainers and judges together. So we offer a day where we have live horses and the judging, and we're also offering some training, watching the trainers train the horses and the riders offer feedback as well. So it's been really positive.
And the Principles of Judging seminar returns next year. It's going back to Moulton College in Northamptonshire. What can attendees expect to see and why should they come along?
Well, I think we're going to improve it again this next year. We're going to encourage judges, riders and trainers again to be more interactive together. We're inviting a top trainer along. They will be able to impart their knowledge of their training and the way they train. And I think it's going to be a good session for all judges, riders and trainers.
And we've got judges, across the whole country, from Cornwall to Scotland. This is a really nice opportunity for our judges to meet up and socialise with their peers. Absolutely.
And what we're going to do this year again is bring back the judges' dinner, which is a really good social event. It allows judges to come along to the training sessions in the day, stay overnight at a very good, sort of competitive price and rate, and also have dinner with us all together. And it's been a real social occasion. It's been well worth doing.
Claire, what are the successes for BD Youth in 2023?
Well, I think we've had a really busy year and lots of our members have enjoyed team competitions. The first of which was the Inter-Regional competition, which was hosted very ably by Valeview Equestrian Centre in Leicestershire. And our second competition, the Home Nations, we all travelled down to Sparshott College near Winchester in Hampshire, and lots of fun was had by lots of riders at both weekends. And observing these over my 7 years as youth director, I've realised how much the standard is going up every year. And this is no doubt due to the coaching that is received by all these riders in the regions. So congratulations to all the regional coaches and all the activities that the regions put on. But I also feel that our foundation and national academies are now firmly embedded in the youth pathway. And it has been such a thrill to see riders coming through from the regions, through the academy system, now representing their country at the European Championships. Underpinning our youth pathway is the horse care system. This has taken 6 years, and we are now at the stage where tiers 1 to 3, the practical assessments are available. You can book those through your regions alongside the online, which has been available for a few years now. The online for the final 2 tiers, 4 and 5, should be rolled out at the end of this year, but they are much more detailed, so a lot of work has had to go into them. And the practical assessment for those, I think, will be available at the end of next year. So keep your eyes open for that. And they, I think, will be integral in our welfare policy and for our education, not just for young riders, but probably for the senior riders as well. The BD apprenticeship scheme is now up and running, and this offers great opportunities for anybody over the age of 16 to take part in tailored apprenticeships, really, whether you want to be a rider, whether you perhaps want to go into business, managing a centre, whether you want to be looking after horses, yard manager. We can tailor the apprenticeship to suit you. And so if you're interested in that, please phone the office. And also, if you run a professional yard and you've never had an apprentice and you'd like to try having an apprentice, we would love to hear from you. So contact Claire Stockley in the British Dressage office and she will give you further details about the apprenticeship scheme, because it's really good, and I think we are going to produce very useful young people and people involved in all different aspects of the industry that will have a very valuable qualification at the end of it. Last but definitely not least, our Young Professionals programme ran very satisfactorily this year, and the winner of the bursary, Evelina Shreve, she was convincing in her presentation, and so we really congratulate her on getting the bursary, and she's going to use it for her coaching qualifications and also to get her HGV, so very best of luck with that, Evelina. So what a busy and successful year we've had. None of this would happen without all the work of our volunteers in the regions, the youth reps, the youth ambassadors, and of course our wonderful development officers. So thank you for all you do for BD Youth. We couldn't do it without you. And my youth committee, all of them come to the meetings enthusiastic, full of ideas, and they've driven the whole thing forwards. So a huge thank you to my youth committee. And last but definitely not least, the office staff, Hannah and Charlotte particularly, who absolutely work over and above to make sure that the academies, the youth care, the apprenticeships, they all actually happen in a smooth and professional way. So thank you all for everything you do.
So we've had a really successful year, Tracy. Looking back on 2023, what are the highlights?
For me, I think it starts with the Para Home Nations that we had, which is obviously aimed at the grassroots riders. We had more teams competing this year, and I'm looking forward to next year having even greater participation. And then I'd also highlight the start of our Freestyle Championships, which again has been well supported by riders across the board. And also the Para Academy, which launches in October, but we had massive numbers of applications for it, which astounded us, and we've had to whittle down to only 14, can you believe it? It was great.
So reviewing this year in a bit more detail, what does competition and participation look like?
Well, competitions are up by 20%, so that means that every rider should have an opportunity to compete locally to them. Participation itself has levelled off, so we would like more people to be out there competing, but I realise with the financial issues that are at the backdrop to our current competition area that may not be possible.
And finally, Tracy, we've got a really exciting year ahead. It's a Paralympic year. What are our plans in the sphere of para-dressage for 2024 and beyond?
Well, obviously we've got a great year because it's Paris, and hopefully we'll have a really strong team. But in the UK, we've got the second year, if you like, of the Para Academy, so I would urge people to apply for the next cohort. We've got expansion of the Freestyle to Music Championships, which I find very exciting. I love freestyle, and there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to ensure competitions for everyone as close as possible to your home location.
It's been a busy season for our riders competing at home internationals and abroad. What have the numbers been like, Judy?
They've been fantastic. We're obviously recovering still from COVID years, and so the numbers were going to always look better than previous years, the last two previous years. Still struggling with the Brexit rules and getting people abroad. It's put the costs up enormously for riders wanting to compete abroad, but we've been very lucky in that we've been well supported with home international CDIs. and that makes a huge difference to our riders and gives them the opportunity to come out. In fact, we've had 361 competitors internationally in total over the age groups so far.
And the action didn't stop there, as after the FEI Youth European Championships, we moved to Amello in the Netherlands for the FEI World Breeding Championships. It was a very busy week. Tell us about it.
Yes, the World Breeding Championships is quite unique and it has its own set of rules. And the nationalities of the horses are what's important here. And we had 5 horses representing British stud books across the age groups. And there were some lovely horses who went there and did really well. And in addition, we also had 4 riders who were based in Europe riding foreign horses, but there were 4 British riders. So we had representation across the board. And of particular, we need to mention is again Lottie Fry, who finished well up in her final, and also to Sarah Rogers, who was also placed in the final of the 7-year-old horses. And Laura Tomlinson was placed 4th in the small final. Both these horses, Sarah's and Laura's, owned by Ursula Bechtelsheimer. But massive thanks to Mount St John for producing lovely horses, to the Van Olsts also for producing lovely horses, and to the Bechtelsheimer family for giving us the opportunity to showcase their horses also. Much appreciated.
Finally, we're looking forward to a very exciting year in 2024. Tell us about the plans in the international department.
Well, Paris is looming and the days is less than a year away now. And the Olympic Games is always a phenomenal experience as a spectator, I can only imagine as a rider, but it is the pinnacle of sport and attracts more attention than any other competition or championship. So how are we going to keep all these horses in the best form for another year? And so they're all up there and doing their best. We're going to work on the selection policy very soon. Of course, we've already talked about it and we've got plans in progress. The object of the exercise being to give the riders the opportunity to produce good scores that make them selectable, but without wearing the horses out, so they're in peak condition for Paris 2024. And hope as many of you as possible get to go over and support our riders in their endeavours, and let's hope we get some gold medals.
In late 2022, we conducted a membership survey focused on competition. Talk us through the results.
Well, the results were fantastic. We had 23% of our members, 3,200 or so members responded to the survey, and the results were really outstanding. Great support for our office staff and the way that we run the organisation, and the feedback was really clear that our members really enjoy going online and looking at their records. It's a really important part of the motivation.
Our members are supported by a dedicated group of partners. Tell us about how these partnerships are having a positive impact on BD members.
Our partners are really important to us. They give access to our members to great discounts and opportunities to really get involved with their sport and their horses. For instance, HorseQuest is a brand new sponsor and partner of ours, and they've given a BD special discount in their specialised sales online product. So that's really great to have them on board with us. And in addition, Rotherham, they're our new legal partner. They provide up to 30 minutes free service and great advice from their equine specialists. And we're seeing them supporting us in our under 21 national championships. So two really great partners to get on board.
And another really much valued BD member benefits, the magazine, which was really well received in the competitor survey. How has it been developed this year to offer enhanced content to our members?
Yeah, as you say, a really important part of the member benefit. And we've updated it, given it a fresh new look. We've really made sure that the access to the magazine and what they are able to read is more accessible. So we're using QR codes, and those QR codes link to videos, and the videos really bring to life what the content within the magazine, and we'll continue to evolve that.
What changes have taken place in marketing and communications during 2023?
So we've restructured the team. We've brought the marketing and communications team together as one. It means we could be more fluid and react to opportunities, projects and festivals and competitions, and respond and provide more content more quickly by working together. So area festivals and our Quest competitions, we can then build that video content and the communication of that far more effectively and efficiently together as one team.
So this brings us on to the last formal part of the AGM. So over to you. No formal questions were submitted to us in advance of the AGM this year. So it's over to you in the room to ask any questions you may have. Our team are in hand with microphones, so please just raise your hand and we'll come over to you. Could I ask that if you do like to ask a question that you do stand when you ask your question. So, any questions in the room? Are you absolutely sure there's no questions in the room? 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Thank you very much. So, very last port of order. I'm going to hand back to Jason, who's literally going to sum up very, very quickly before we have a chance to move on to our awards.
Thank you very much, Ben. Before closing this part of the meeting, I just wanted to thank everyone again for their contribution over the last 25 years. We never take any of this for granted. As we continue to develop and grow as an organisation, we're committed to investing back into the sport for the benefit of all of our members at all levels. You've heard this evening about some of our exciting plans for the future, taking us through to next year's Paris Olympics and beyond, but we couldn't achieve any of this without the loyal support of our members. So as I hope has been evident this evening, the board, our technical and regional committees and our team of dedicated staff continue to work hard on your behalf to enhance the member experience and support the sport that we all love. Your contribution is very much appreciated by all of us, so to all BD members, past and present, a sincere thank you for everything you have done over the last 25 years to make British Dressage the organisation that it is today. Now, as part of our 25th anniversary celebrations, we are now going to give out some special awards to some unsung heroes from across the regions. So if you're watching at home, please do stay tuned. I'm only sorry to miss out myself, but congratulations to all of those nominated and all of those who are about to be announced as our winners this evening. Now, we're going to have just a short break in proceedings, which will allow those in the room to have a little comfort break. We're conscious that we've been going for an hour and a half already, but we're going to play a short video for those of you who are watching at home and in the room. And we're going to hear from the very first chair of British Dressage, Desi Dillingham, as well as our honorary patron, Carl Hester, accompanied by some of the highlights from the last 25 years. Thank you very much for joining us, and I wish you a very pleasant evening.
I've been part of the journey, and it's been one of the best journeys I ever could have been part of. It didn't start that way. It happened, but I met like-minded people, and thankfully I was not, when I was asked to join the main committee, my mother said, I hope they can find you a job because you're not exactly going to be asked to write the next dressage test. I come from a very horsey background at Olympic level, but in eventing and never in dressage. But I have business acumen that dressage allowed me to use to help them go forward. Well, the first thing, we didn't have a penny, and founder members were everything. And I wrote a letter, and we got 65,000 quid, and we set up the whole business on 65,000 pounds. And when I left, I think it was over 400,000 in reserves. So we did the basic, but then everybody else has come on and put their own personality into things and changed things. But the most important thing is we've always gone up. And I don't want anyone to ever forget the wonderful comradeship we all had, the fun we had, and the absolute amazing fun we're having celebrating being top in the world.
Superb pirouette, really nice pirouette. What's going to come for next year at the Olympics?
The day in both of them at the beginning of their career. Absolutely. That's a rider.
So we had so many like-minded people that were all feeling like pioneers. And we just opened the sport up. It was no one under 16. It was from 16 was the youngest. And we opened it up under 21s with Jane Goldsmith. We brought in the British Young Riders Dressage Scheme, the Birds. The RDA joined our board. And then we had really the top people. So you say to the top judge, okay, I want you to speak to your judges. You figure out what you need and what you want. We want, what is the problem? What are the solutions? And what do you recommend? And so everybody had an opportunity within their own area to grow. And that's what really made us take off. And UK Sport Funding came in the late 90s. That changed our life completely. And the first thing we went to, Conrad Schumacher in 1998, World Games in Rome. A Canadian had Conrad Schumacher as the trainer, Emile Faure as the South African, Ferdy as a German, Sandy Pfluger as an American, and Richard Davidson. So what we're doing now is we've got British bred horses and British bred riders, and they've come up through the system, and it is now a flourishing sport. We're now first in the world. And it's been the most amazing journey, and I've been so thrilled to be part of it.
There's so many wonderful memories, but the Olympics in 2012, London, obviously that was a real highlight, seeing us be the best in the world, and the recent Europeans again, another wonderful, extraordinary moment, and you know, building on the depth and watching British dressage evolve over the years, providing lots of structure for the youth riders to ensure we continue to develop, to remain at the top of the table.
I think the standard of riding, the standard of horses coming here today, we've improved so beyond belief. And I've just got back from the European Championships, and we're really right up there now. Because when I was riding, it was always with the poor relations, we didn't really understand, and now we've gone shot from the bottom to the top. And it's brilliant to see, and we have it all coming along now here, seeing that we've still got backups, more and more coming, young people riding beautifully with super horses. So it's brilliant to see all that happening.
well, for us personally, getting to associate champs with our little pony, our little native, he was bought as a field ornament effectively for our other pony who was much older, and yeah, he had a little bit of talent. It's been lovely to see him come along, and yeah.
Just the opportunities that we've kind of had through BD, been able to do associate champs, team quest, not got the biggest, flashiest horse, but there's so much we've been able to do and get out and enjoy ourselves, really. It's been, it's been really good since we joined.
It's been looking
Well, I mean, I tell you, isn't it special to win a European gold medal on the 25th anniversary? I mean, this makes it feel very special, and to have success in the juniors and young riders this year as well, and the pony's so close. It just makes me realise what the last 25 years have done. So that actually probably makes me the happiest, because I can see what's happened in 25 years from where we're going. From a personal point of view, probably that lovely horse I had called Legal Democrat, who won 3 national Grand Prix championships in a row. And I remember him winning the 3rd time, and it just couldn't have got any better, 3 in a row. I know it hasn't been done before, I don't think. So, that was my gold medal moment before I even had won a medal. So probably, back in the 90s, late 90s that was.
Well, I think we like to take over like when we have been aiming all of my life to get the Germans off their perch. And I'd like for us to run the next 30 years so the Germans are trying to get us off their perch. It won't happen because the sport itself has come open. There's so many more countries doing well. But the standard of excellence and the standard of doing it all through kindness has just been amazing. I mean, I just watched the Europeans last week and I cried half the time.
Don't do anything yet. Okay, hopefully everyone can hear me back in the room. We'd look to make a start on the awards now, if that's okay with everyone, please. Very conscious of time, and people have got a long way to travel. So if everyone can take their seats, please, we'll get started. We want to make sure the awards are given due care and attention. We also want to make sure that you're not sat here till midnight. So unfortunately, because of Jason's COVID, you're stuck with me. So I'll aim to be as quick as I can whilst giving all of the award nominees and winners the recognition they deserve. So Lou is on clicking duties for here and on the live stream, so nothing can go wrong. Okay, we're now going to move on to a very special presentation of awards to mark our 25th anniversary and to celebrate the achievements of some of our unsung heroes across the regions. From our riders, coaches, judges, stewards and volunteers, there's a huge network of people that make the sport happen. So we want to take this opportunity to show our thanks and appreciation for everything you do. So we've got 10 award categories. They recognise outstanding contribution in key areas as well as some standout achievements in the saddle. We asked each of our regions to put forward candidates for these awards, with the nominations then considered by our independent panel of former regional chairs, headed by our current BD chair, Jill Day, who will also be presenting the awards to each winning recipient tonight. If your name is read out as a category winner, then please make your way to front and stand on the stage to receive your award, if you're able to. The standard was incredibly high, and our panel had a hugely challenging task in selecting tonight's winners. Everyone nominated should be incredibly proud, easy for me to say, to have been put forward by your region. It's no small feat, and I'm sure you'll join me in congratulating them all. So, without further ado, let's get started on 25th Anniversary Awards, and we'll be starting with the MyQuest Award. Is it moved on? Okay. So, the nominees put forward by each region are as follows. Marion Darville from South and West, Cara Hodnett from Scotland, Theo Charnley from North and West, Celia Charvilliers, South and East, Joanne Davies, Wales, and Freya Percival from North and East. And the joint winners of the MyQuest Award are Freya Percival from North and East and Joanne Davies from Wales. Freya and Joanne, please come up to the stage to receive your awards. So Freya won the Quest Trophy at the North and East Awards, which recognises the highest overall score achieved by an under-21 rider at the North and East Quest Regionals in 2022. She went on to compete at the Quest National Championships, finishing 6th in the novice and winning the prelim MyQuest Championships. Freya is also a C+ BD Youth Squad rider and has recently made the step up from ponies to horses. BD Wales rider Joanne has been actively participating in both MyQuest and Team Quest events since 2016, displaying her dedication and passion for equestrian excellence. Competing her homebred mare Edie, she has had a determined goal of achieving the coveted 70% milestone. In the face of adversity, Joanne's resilience shines through. Despite a 3-month hiatus from riding early this year due to health challenges, she exhibited determination to regain her own and her horse's fitness levels for the ongoing competition season. Well done to both Freya and Joanne. Our second award is the Team Quest Award, and the nominees are Collective Dreamcatchers from South and West, Fife's Main Attraction from Scotland, Team Little Blingers from North and West, Team Oakenden from South and East, It's the Bling Thing from Wales, and Team Ride or Die from North and East. And the winner of the Team Quest Award is Fife's Main Attraction from Scotland. I'd like to invite Jackie and Nicola to the front to receive their award. The team have faced many challenges, but have not let us get in the way of achieving success. One of the team members took over running affiliated dressage in the area to ensure that there were still opportunities to compete locally. A member of the team sadly lost her horse recently, but has come back strong with a young horse, while another competes with a World Horse Welfare rescue horse. One member suffered an accident this year, resulting in a fractured femur, a torn MCL and nerve damage, though the Quest finals have given her the focus she needs to work diligently on her recovery in time to compete. The whole team believe that Quest has given them an amazing route into BD competition, as well as giving them the confidence to compete and the desire to move through the levels. Well done, and congratulations to all of you. Ricky Gervais, I am not. The next award recognises our para riders, and the nominees are Hope Hayward from South and West, Kyla Mantilla Ross from Scotland, Chloe Chadwick from North and West, Sarah Oram, South and East, Ellen Williams, Wales, and Mark Griffin, North and East. And the joint winners of the Para Rider Award are Ellen Williams from Wales, and Hope Hayward from South and West. Ellen embarked on a dressage journey through the RDA and hippotherapy at just 2 years old. Now 14, her progress is a testament to her dedication and passion. In 2022, Ellen represented Wales in the Para Home Nations, contributing to a Team Wales victory despite being the youngest team member. This year, her achievements continue. She qualified 2 ponies for the Equissage Pulse Para Winter Championships, achieved Grade 1 Profile 5 classification, and made a winning international debut. Ellen also won the Grade 1 title at the Para Home Nations and qualified for the Gold Championships at the Lemieux Nationals. Ellen's commitment to improvement is evident in her involvement in various camps and training days, while her coaching and support for fellow para, youth and senior riders demonstrates her outstanding character. South and West's Hope Hayward has had a long para journey, having been involved for many years, originally with BD Youth. Following classification and spinal surgery, Hope made strides in the saddle of schoolmistress Lottie under the guidance of then trainer Nina Venables. The pair moved through the levels and represented South and West on the Home Nations team with much success. Now partnered with Cato, Hope is competing at 3-star level and is the current Grade 5 national gold champion. Hope, hang on. Hope is the first to offer help, steward right, and regularly brings horses to judge training in regional events. Always so happy and beaming from ear to ear, she's a true asset to her region. Congratulations and well done to both Ellen and Hope. Next, slow down. Too fast. Okay, apologies. Bring back Jason. Next, we have our Senior Rider Award, and the nominees are Katie Neen from South and West, Ailey Grant from Scotland, Lizzie Hughes, North and West, Angela Fenn, South and East, Anita Jones, Wales, and Jess Griffiths from North and East. And the joint winners of the Senior Rider Award are Jess Griffiths from North and East and Anita Jones from Wales. Jess was a winner at the North and East Awards of the Sir Oliver Silver Freestyle Bronze, which is awarded to the rider with the highest percentage in a music freestyle class at the Winter Regionals. She is the North and East Youth Rep, the BDCC Level 3 coach and youth assessor, as well as a List 4 judge, and got married 2 weeks ago. Jess rode in the winning team at the 2021 Senior Home Nations, taking the novice individual title, as well as the winning team at the 2022 Senior Interregionals, where she took the elementary individual title, and at this year's Interregionals, where she was again on the winning team and taking the medium individual title. She has also won titles at these levels in the last 3 North and East shows, and was 3rd at the national championships in the silver elementary silver class. Anita has often found herself as a runner-up, but her positive spirit has never wavered. And at the Petplan Winter Area Festival, her determination finally paid off as she won the Advanced Medium Championships with a 70% score. Beyond her own personal success, Anita went out of her way to gain scores on another horse as well, ensuring her place on the BD Wales Home Nations team, an activity she has embraced for years. Anita's unwavering support extends to driving around North Wales to assist and encourage fellow riders. She actively supports young riders in Pony Club, introducing them to dressage and BD Youth. Anita is highly visible in the North Wales region, known by most riders, and is an integral member of the Welsh regional teams, competing at interregionals and Home Nations competitions. Her constant smile and encouragement uplift the team and fellow riders. Well done and congratulations to both Jess and Anita. Now we're going to recognise the achievements of our youth riders, and the nominees are Ella Glennon from South and West, Abigail Gray, Scotland, Neith Linton, North and West, Rocky Leahy, South and East, Connie Mann, Wales, and Holly Scott from North and East. And the winners of the Youth Rider Award are Rocky Leahy from South and East, and Neve Linton from North and West. Apologies for rehousing Rocky there, apologies. Rocky has been involved with BD Youth since he was a D-squad rider with great success, achieving many podium placings at both the Interregionals and Home Nations. This dedicated young rider started out riding at the Inter-County Championships and has continued to go from strength to strength. During the last year, Rocky has ridden horses loaned to him to enable him to compete. And he's recently been able to take the ride on a very special pony, so he's got extremely high hopes for 2024. What makes Rocky stand out is his generous, outgoing personality. He's always the first to offer support to the younger riders and his teammates, as well as always offering to support competitions and venues, whether by sheep collecting or poo picking. He undertakes any task with a smile and a wonderful attitude. Rocky is always the first in line to volunteer and is a shining example of our youth programme, so the South and East region are very proud to have him. Neve is recognised for her outstanding efforts in travelling from the top of Cumbria to compete for the North and West region. She only started dressage just 2 years ago and has been selected for the regional teams in both years through sheer hard work and dedication on her native pony, a shining example of what BD Youth is all about. Despite being quite shy and reserved, Neve always gives her absolute best and ensures her pony gets the biggest of pats. Neve is always a team player and supports all youth activities to the full, attending camps, squad assessments, youth regional team events and the North and West Rider League. Well done to both Rocky and Neve. The next award is our Steward Award, and the nominees are Nicola Slay from South and West, Hazel Donaldson from Scotland, Jeff Simpson from North and West, Lottie Olsen from South and East, Ellen Griffiths from Wales, and Nick Rogers from North and East. And the winner of the Steward Award is Jeff Simpson from North and West. Jeff is already known as something of a legend within the dressage community. He's dedicated many years to ensuring the integrity of dressage is upheld and has overseen the smooth running of BD events all over the UK. Jeff has supported BD, and in particular the North and West Regional Youth Show and Regional Championships, for many years. Every year he mentions he might be retiring, but thankfully he keeps returning to help out. Jeff has generously given his time in training stewards, speaking at officials' conferences and supporting our championship shows. As an FEI steward, he represented Great Britain at both the London 2012 Olympic Games and the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, and is a very highly respected member of the international stewarding community. I'm sure you'll agree that this is a thoroughly deserved award, so well done and congratulations to Jeff. Next, we have our Coach Award, and the nominees are Damien Hallam, South and West, Kerry Sutherland, Scotland, Janet Horswell, North and West, Teresa Edmonds, South and East, Steb Bradley, Wales, and Hannah Esberger-Hancock from North and East. And the winner of the Coach Award is Teresa Edmonds from South and East. Teresa travels all over the region to train at every level, setting up and running no fewer than 3 camps this year for the region completely off her own back. With her knowledge, support and can-do attitude, Teresa has been a real asset to the committee as coach rep and a constant support to the development officers. She is in touch with all the coaches in the region, speaking to them about CPD activity and explaining the benefits of joining the BD coaching programme. Teresa is also a county coordinator, encouraging grassroots riders into the sport and always with a smile where nothing is too much trouble. I'm sure you'll all join me in expressing our gratitude to Teresa. Congratulations and well done on winning this award. My clicker's gone too fast and now she's talking. All right, okay, she's back in the room. The next award is our Judge Award, and the nominees are Judith Harris, South and West, Gillian Peters from Scotland, Stephen Clark, North and West, Lottie Olson, Round 2 from South and East, Rebecca Morris from Wales, and Cherry Elvin from North and East. And the winner of the Judge Award is Gillian Peters from Scotland. Gillian is the first homegrown Scottish judge to achieve List 1 status, which has required huge dedication and commitment. She is willing to regularly support venues all over Scotland, from Loch Ness to the Borders, judging tests at all levels. Over the last 3 years, she has judged more than 1,000 tests each year, which is quite remarkable. Gillian helps other judges embark and progress on the judges' pathway in her role as both a judge educator and the Scottish Judges Rep. Gillian has put in a lot of effort into championing the cause of Scottish judges over a number of years with BD head office and the wider dressage community. She also works to push up the standard of dressage in Scotland by providing many competitors with the chance to compete locally and regularly at the higher levels. Gillian is on the committee of BD Scotland and has held a committee post with the Gordon Dressage Group since its inception 30 plus years ago. Congratulations to Gillian and well done on your thoroughly deserved success. Next, we have a volunteer award to recognise those that selflessly give up so much of their time for BD. And the nominees are Carolyn Taylor, South and West, Linda Lang, Scotland, Chloe Davis, North and West, Nikki Goldup and Craig Messenger, South and East, Anna Roberts, Wales, and Alice Ferguson, North and East. And the winner of the volunteer award is Anna Roberts from Wales. Now, unfortunately, Anna's unable to join us this evening due to COVID, sadly. But we do have Anna's parents here, I believe, to accept the award on her behalf. Anna is a shining example of dedication within BD Wales, progressing from a youth rider to youth ambassador and then youth rep with unwavering enthusiasm. As a youth ambassador, Anna encouraged fellow young riders to overcome COVID-related challenges, culminating in their participation at the Youth Home International in 2021. Here, Anna excelled as a team rider and provided crucial support to younger riders, helping boost their confidence. Her proactive approach as youth rep has transformed BD Youth in Wales. She is engaged with current and potential youth riders, using her experiences to increase membership and participation in events. Her dedication goes way beyond her administrative duties. She actively participates in youth activities, camps and team competitions. In 2022, she managed the Youth Home Nations event brilliantly. Anna is also establishing herself as an equine physiotherapist and has proactively organised youth leagues, fostering significant growth within BD Youth in Wales. Her unwavering commitment to riders of all ages and experiences is exceptional, earning her the respect and appreciation of both the Wales Committee and parents. Anna's positive influence is evident in heartwarming stories of her assistance to young riders during events. Well done to Anna on this thoroughly deserved award. The final award of the evening is a special one, nominated by the BD Chair in recognition of someone who has made an outstanding contribution to British dressage over many years. This award is being presented to Anita Darkin. Anita has been involved in dressage for many years. She was the founder of the Eastern Dressage Liaison Group, bringing riders, judges and trainers together. This group ran successfully for many years, piloting many new ideas. This was all before BD left the BHS and set up regional committees following a similar format. It was at this time that Anita disbanded EDLG to avoid conflicting with what BD was working to achieve in the regions. Anita then went on to become the training rep for the Eastern region and ultimately the chairman. She has also been a member of the BD Training Committee and was involved at the beginnings of UKCC. Anita has been a List 1 judge for many years and now gives most of her time towards judging in the Eastern region. Last year she judged at 88 competitions, being one of only a few List 1 judges in the region. If it was not for Anita, the opportunity for riders to compete above medium in this region would certainly be reduced. Anita is happy to judge at all levels, so if the entries are low, the organiser can always rely on her to judge as many tests as needed to ensure that no classes need to be cancelled. She makes a huge contribution to supporting riders across South and East, championing horse welfare, and is a big advocate for the BD Horse Care programmes. Anita has always been a loyal member, judge, trainer and volunteer for many years, so she is thoroughly deserving of this Outstanding Contribution Award. A warm congratulations to Anita for this special recognition. I haven't finished yet. For the last hour, that concludes our anniversary celebration awards. That was a joke. To mark 25 years of British dressage. Well done and congratulations once again to everyone who was nominated. As I said at the very start, the judging panel, it was a tough ask going through those nominations because everyone deserved recognition. I hope you've enjoyed the awards ceremony and thank you to all of you for making the journey to Aintree, especially when the weather is going to be pretty bad tonight by the sounds of it. For those of you who are here, you're welcome to join us for some drinks and canapes over the next hour. You've earned the food, so please stick around for it. To everyone at home, thank you for watching this evening. We hope to see you at a BD competition, training event or championship very soon.